how to paint a waterfall scene using acrylic paint on a wooden panel. That's what this is. It's a wooden panel, and today I want to show you how I painted that waterfall with the pool of water underneath and all the greenery around it, and I also want to thank you. You guys have been sending me some really nice messages, so thank you for that. Ryan Coldy, I don't know how you did it, but you got a lot of people to look at my channel, and I appreciate that so much. I especially appreciate the comments from people who are enjoying the channel, and I got one young person, I assume, because they're still in school, who said that that person won an award. Wow, an art award, and said that they had been watching the videos. So I don't think I'm a teacher. I'm just showing you how I do what I do. But it's just so nice. You guys have been so kind. So hopefully you like this one. I kind of like it. Kind of like the way that looks. The board, the wood itself, is actually, I don't know where the other half is, but it's actually half a piece of wood, because I was at an event and there was a martial arts guy, trying to sell martial arts lessons. And I mean, he must have been 25. He was very young. And he asked me if I wanted to try to karate chop a piece of wood in half. Well, look how thin it is. I didn't think I'd have any trouble breaking this wood, but I did it. Oh yeah. And it broke in half. And two pieces, not exactly half, but this is one of the two pieces. I don't know what I did with the other piece, but I told myself when I did that I was going to paint on them one day, and today's the day. And not only that, but Robert is making tacos. That sounds pretty good. Not a bad day. Got a waterfall, got tacos. Can't go wrong. So thank you for all your kind comments. Ryan Coldy, oh my gosh, if I can ever take you out for dinner or a cup of coffee or something, thank you so much. And this is the video where I show you how I do this. Okay? All right, here we go. Well, good morning. Today we're gonna paint on wood. This little piece of wood, and let's measure it. It is about 6 1/4 inches by 8 3/4 inches. So it's a very unusual size. And actually, there's a little story behind this. I'll tell you the story, but first, in order to paint on the wood, by the way, I just want to show you that it's wood. So first we're going to use acrylic today, acrylic paint. So first I have to put some acrylic gesso on it. This will give it a nice surface for painting. You don't need it, but I feel like I want to do that. So let's put some on there and just spread it around. And that's the first step, really. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Come on. This is a big old half-gallon jug. There it goes. I don't need much. That's good enough. And then I'm going to spread it around, but I'm not just going to spread it around. I'm going to tint it a little bit. I'm going to tint it with some red and yellow. Okay, so we're just going to mix a little bit of red. Let's see. And red and yellow do what? They make orange. So that's really my goal, is to kind of have an orangish background. I might add some blue just to get it to be brown. Let's see how this looks. Just kind of mix it up on here. Now this is not the painting, nor is it the underpainting. It's just gesso, but colored gesso. And so this is gesso. That's not white paint. That's gesso. And there's the red paint I'm mixing in with it. And there's the yellow paint I'm mixing in with it to try to create an orangey kind of a surface here. And the reason I'm doing that is because the picture I want to paint today is a waterfall. And there's going to be a lot of blues and greens in the final picture. And sometimes one of the techniques I like to use is to underpaint the surface, especially if I'm doing acrylic or oil. But with oil painting, you have to, if the underpainting is in oil, you have to wait like 2 weeks for it to dry. Okay, so that's part of that. Or you can underpaint an oil painting with acrylic. You gotta wait a long time for that too, though. You don't really have to. You know what? That's not an area I'm really an expert in, but I've done it, and I've been told that I should wait longer. But call me impatient. I sort of am an impatient guy. All right, but anyway, the idea here is just to get this covered with something that is opposite of what it's going to be. Or the other word they use is complementary. So basically, I'm spreading around the gesso to cover the wood, and then the acrylic paint that's mixed in there is giving it those reddish, almost pinkish and orangish tones. And then, of course, we have to let it dry. But don't worry, I'm not going to keep the camera turned on. I don't want you to have to watch a video of paint drying. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can either smooth it out, or you can keep it. Peaked like that. We got little peaks of paint, and I'm going to keep it peaked because people who get original paintings like the peaks. I'm going to say I don't understand why, but I don't. Well, maybe I do. Maybe it's just that idea of having a painting, instead of a print that you could have done digitally, or a print that could be from AI. This is a hand-done painting, and so maybe that's why. But people liked paintings that were peaked like this. I'm just kind of pulling it up now. People liked stuff like this before there was anything called digital, and before there was anything called AI. So I think it's just a matter of the brush strokes. Maybe that's what it is. They just like to know that the artist who did it is kind of present because of the brush strokes. I'm cleaning my brush. Yeah, acrylic paint needs a lot of washing. So I'm going to be changing my water a few times with this one. Watercolor, you can kind of work with the same water the whole project. All right, I'm going to turn off the camera now and let that dry, and then I'll be back after it's dry, okay? Okay, let's begin. So that's all the gesso and the orange and red, yellow and red paint is dry, and you see it's got a nice orange glow with a little bright spot in the middle. It's kind of what we want because that's where the waterfall is going to go, right there. So let's just place some. I'm trying to think, should I go from dark to light or light to dark? I think I'm going to go from light to dark and then worry about it when I get there. So what I like about, and I also have this, by the way. This is slow dry gel. Can you see the label? Slow dry gel, and I'm going to use some of that. I'm glad I just remembered it. It's a great way to slow down the drying process. Because even though it takes a long time to dry, sometimes it dries too quickly. So let me take a little bit out of there and put it on my palette. By the way, I should show you my palette. So this is just slow dry gel. I'm just going to put it on the palette and I'll dip into it now and then, kind of like you would do linseed oil. Well, very much like what you would do linseed oil on oil paintings. So there's my palette. So these two are the same. They're not black, they're Payne's gray. These two are the same, they're white. And then I have, what was that? What would that be called right there? See, I'm not really good at the names. Oh, that's raw sienna, that's what I thought. And then there's orange, yellow, a light green, a darker green, a light blue. And hopefully that's all I need. But we'll see. And you truthfully can do the whole thing with the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and then with white, of course. And usually instead of black, I use Payne's gray. It's just kind of what I like doing. Alright, right now I'm dabbing in some of this light green here, and I'm going to even lighten it up more with some white, and keep it very bright at the top. I want to bring it down to around there. Just some, and you can already see how the orange background is playing with this color here in such a way that you can see it happening. If this had been a white canvas, for example, the white without the underpainting, the white wouldn't have worked right away. You would have to put something dark down first. But okay, so I want to kind of put the top of the waterfall right about there. That's where we're going to put it. I'm going to keep this all light green and a little bit whiter toward the top. And let's just kind of bring this across here. There we go. Just bring it across, and let's add some of that dark green here to the edge. And again, we're gonna kind of put some growth here, because we want it to shine through. And then some dark green over here. That green is a little bit too green for me, so I'm gonna desaturate it by adding some orange to it. Just kind of having a little bit of a landscaping here at the top. I just kind of like the way that green kind of blends into the other greens. And again, over here, add some orange to desaturate the green. It's a little bit too green for my tastes. And we're going to work it. I like the idea of painting on this slab of wood. Did I tell you how I got this wood, by the way? If I did in the first part of the video, then I guess I'll be repeating myself. But that's what old men do. We repeat. We repeat ourselves a lot. So what happened was, at the church I go to, they have this thing at Halloween time called Trunk or Treat, where kids from the neighborhood come and go trick-or-treating for candy. And they do it, everybody decorates their trunk, and then the kids come out and get the candy. And it's just a safe alternative, because sometimes you hear horror stories about people being mean at Halloween time. And so I went to it. Robin and I and Robin's mom, we decorated the car, the back of the car. and the kids came around and got candy from us. Well, one of the other cars that was there was owned by a guy who teaches martial arts. And I just walked up there. I was talking to all the different people who were there, the different parents and the different teachers, etc. Because it's a school. It's not just a church. It's a church and a school. And one of them was a martial arts teacher, and he said, "You want to try to break the wood?" And it was one of those demonstrations, where you do a karate chop and you break the wood in half. And I looked at the wood and I thought to myself, there's no way I can't break that wood. It was very thin wood. It's this wood right here. So I did. And then I kept the two pieces, and I always thought, well, I'll use it for a painting one day. And so this is now February 8th, today. And the story I'm telling you happened, in the middle of October sometime. So you see what happened there. So I held on to it all this time with the intent of doing some painting on it. And here I am today doing that painting. So, all right, let's just create some darkness here. Let's make it, where do we want our waterfall? This is going to be our waterfall right here in the middle and off to the side here. It's not a specific waterfall, by the way. It's not one I know of in real life. Alright, so we want that to end there. A couple of rocks down here. There we go. Just kind of try to imagine it in there and put a little bit of green on there, and maybe a little bit yellow. I'll come back to it once it dries a little bit. Keep the colors kind of subtle. There's some rocks in the water. So, how you guys doing? Oh my gosh, I have to thank you all for such kind comments. There was a gentleman by the name of Ryan Coldy who put together a video, and I don't know how he discovered my channel, but he did, and it was so nice of him to share it with his followers, and I think many of them are you guys. I don't really know how that works. How do you gain all those followers and everything? But I got a message this morning that somebody, I'm assuming a school student, had won a contest at school after having used some of my techniques that I show. And I thought that was so great. I mean, not just that it happened, but that person was sharing it with me, and I just thought it was great. So thank you. There's so many kind words, and if I could tell you anything in return, please don't give up yourself. I mean, you were encouraging me not to give up, and no, I'm not a person who gives up. I just was going to stop doing social media because it's so often cynical, not necessarily toward me, but just in general. There's so much negativity, but you guys showed me that I was wrong about that there's a lot of good, kind people out there that just want to help, and you're among them, and I appreciate it so much. I showed it to Robin, and she was just touched by it too. So thank you for making my day, and for just taking the time to write something. It was just really, really super nice. So let's see if we get some blue-green down here. Try to get this blue and this green mixed together. Kind of create a little bit of a reflection down here. I'm going to add some more dark over here. Adding these dark colors with these light colors is kind kind of cool. You can do it all with the same brush, and it looks really nice. Just trying to create some things here. Now the waterfall itself will be light blue mostly, with some highlights of white. And the trick, if you want to call it a trick, is to wait till the very end before you add the white. Yep, wait till the very end. Don't be impatient. So I like the way this is looking already. It's got these nice deep green tones, and I'm going to make some leaves over here and some trees up there at the top of that cliff. And you see how that background underpainting is working here. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and add some of that blue and that green and that white. Just kind of add it in there. Get some more Payne's Gray to that water. Here we go. It's starting to happen. Sometimes it's just a trial and error, making the colors of water. Sometimes it's just a matter of working it until it looks the way you want it to look. And we have no details yet, by the way. These are all rough sketches. This is a rough sketch. All right, let me put that brush in the water. And let's go ahead and add some of the trees at the top. At the top of this cliff here. Right now it's going on very much like oil paint, which is what I want. I want it to have that oil paint look to it. There we go. All right, let's use another brush and get some of that blue or light blue paint. Here we go. Here's a good brush. We'll take the blue. We're going to paint right onto the waterfall. Going to paint a blue waterfall, and then we're going to add the white to it. And I'll show you why in a second. There's a waterfall over here too. So this is all water. Water is not white, nor is it blue. And we're going to use the white with the blue to lighten the blue. There's that water right there, coming across the edge. And it's just splashing all over these rocks. It's splashing everywhere. I'm using the slow dry to thin it out, to thin the paint out, rather than using water. And usually the waterfalls fan out at the bottom, so you'll see, and you can already see it. You can already see the painting coming alive. It's trickling down here on the side. Just keep using that blue straight out of the tube with the slow dry. There we go. Just keep it pliable. Is that the word? Pliable? There we go. All that blue is going to be very light after a while, almost white. There. Now you don't have to do it this way. You could mix the white with the blue before you even add paint to the surface, your canvas or your whatever surface you're painting on. But I decided to do it this way, just to see, I guess, just to see if it works. If I told you that I knew in advance that it would work, I'd be not telling you the truth. So that's why I'm using a lot of paint, slow dry, paint thinner, to create this white, light blue effect. I kind of like the way it looks. How some of it is whiter than others. And you got this flowing waterfall effect. Over here, let's make some of that over here. So here we are. That's Robin out there talking, if you can hear her. She's on the phone with her mom. And yeah, today's Saturday, so we're gonna do stuff. Robin's making tacos. I love tacos. Robin's mom is 92 years old, and she's an amazing lady. She walks a mile or two a day, and just is so vibrant and so positive, and just a real inspiration. She's an artist too, by the way. She's a beautiful artist. She's done some amazing work. So Robin is also, by the way, if I never told you that, Robin is a great artist. Alright, just keep adding white here. Let me get some of this white over here on this one. So right now it's still very illustration-y, but I want to make it artsy if I can. And I think one way to do that is just to keep working it. Just to keep working it. And I'm going to add a little bit of green to that too. I think a little bit of green will give it that turquoise effect. You can always tell when I'm focusing because then I stop talking. So that explains why I'm not talking. I'm just focusing, trying to make sure I get this to look the way I really want it to look. I really want it to look misty and magical. Magical is the key word here. We add some more green to that. And some blue. The blue, green, and that white make a nice turquoise effect. Keeping this light blue here. Like I say, I'm going to add the bright white last. I like the way the water kind of flows. Flows right down to the bottom, and then it smashes on these, and the mist rises up. I remember as a kid going to Niagara Falls and watching that effect happen, and going down to down the steps to the bottom of the falls, I guess, where the water was spraying up on everything. I'm adding some of that pure white now to try to get that look of the waterfall. And even down here, all right, we're getting there. We're making some progress here. All right, I'm going to come back to that water after a while. Right now, I want to touch up the highlights of some of the edges of the rocks and everything. I want to put a light yellow green up there. So I'm mixing yellow and green. Let's make it look like moss up there. Here we go. Maybe I can make it a little bit lighter. Add some white to that yellow and green. Oh yeah, that's much better. You have little areas where the light is hitting the rocks. And also the side of the tree over here. this tree over here. Over here we got some too. There we go. Okay, we're getting there, little by little. Let's put some of that light yellow and green down here. Let's get some of that yellow green over here. Like little palm fronds or something. Maybe little ferns or something. Oh, I can smell the tacos. Robin is making tacos. I'm doing this later in the day than I normally do these paintings because I wanted to do this one and I had to put the gesso on it and I had to let the gesso dry. And that took a few hours. Or maybe it took 1 hour. I don't know. So, but you know, I turned the camera off so you wouldn't have to worry about that or sit through that. Yeah. So right now I'm just trying to create some more light spots here for the water. It's starting to look like a scene that I like. Let's get some vines here. what I like about the videos here is that you don't have to sit through the whole thing. You can fast forward and look at the parts that might make sense to you or might be what you really want to see. I don't blame you. That's exactly how I do it when I have watched other artists online. Do you want to know who? You want to know who I have watched? Oh wow, gosh, okay. I just had this like thought that you might have heard me say I watch other artists, and you want to know who I watch. Well, I watch James Gurney. He's unbelievably good. I watch Andrew Tischler. Very, very good. I watch, I can't remember the lady's name, but her channel is called The Monet Cafe, and she does pastels beautifully. Oh my gosh, it's so incredible. I've watched Will Terry and Jake Parker and Lee White. They have a little school. They actually teach art, especially illustration art. And that interested me for a long time, and it still does, but I kind of have a grip on that on my own because I've done so many books. But I like watching them anyway and hear what they have to say, and especially some of the business of book illustrating. And I don't know exactly. I've worked in the music world, so I know that like a publisher of a book is really not that different than a publisher of music. in this way, that they don't all agree. So you're going to find one who likes one thing and another who likes another thing, and it's kind of the way of the world, if you know what I mean. All right, we're getting there. We're getting close to this looking like something. Let me add a little bit more darkness to this over here. Kind of a pretty looking composition, isn't it? Kind of a pretty one. Real pretty. You get some reflections in this water here. Alright, let me put some of this orange and burnt sienna in here, just so you can sort of see. Maybe there's some rocks under the water that are just capturing the light from the sky through the water. And it does help balance it a little bit. It's surprising how a color that's not really the main color sometimes works really well. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl. Are you guys gonna watch the Super Bowl? I'm watching it with Robin and her mom, and I'm rooting for whoever they root for because I don't care, but I still want to be, having fun. So it's more fun to root for a team than to not root for a team. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, now I think it's time. Put a few more rocks down here. Now I think it's time for the white. I think so. So let's get a smaller brush and start going for the pure white. Well, the first place is going to be the very top of the waterfall. That's where it has to be the brightest, because it's right there at the crest. go. And bring some of these down. Some of the white, bring it down into the waterfall. And then down at the bottom, let's get some of this brought down. Like it's traveling the whole length of the waterfall. Keep some of it looking blue and blue-green. Here we go. Down here where it's splashing, this is where it starts to become white again. It's just spraying everywhere. There we go. Let's get some white down here. And then at the top of this waterfall, the little tiny waterfall, off to the side here, and over here, some of that spray is coming up here. Let's get some of this very white area right here. It's dripping over these rocks. It's finding its way down to the river that it's going to eventually flow somewhere out to the ocean, probably. If you think about water evaporates, goes in a cloud, climbs over your head, floats thousands of miles, and then drops onto the ground, into the mountains, and then flows back down to the ocean. And along the way it brings life to everything. Well, to me that is an amazing, and it's an amazing thing. And it's how many, like, you look up at the sky and you look at the clouds, how much water do you think is in there? Do you know there might be more water in that cloud than in like a large lake? Yeah, it's incredible, all that water. And when water evaporates, it just leaves all the impurities back on the ground. So it only carries the pure water up into the sky. It's just incredible. So that when it falls down, it's pure. I know it gets dirty along the way because of air pollution, but it is rather incredible. To me, it's proof of God. It's just proof that you couldn't have life if you didn't have that. If you didn't have the phenomenon of evaporation, the phenomenon of condensation and rain. Does that make sense to you? I know we all don't agree on that, but that's how I feel about it. I think we're almost done. I think I am done. Alright, well, there's our acrylic waterfall on wood. There it is. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and thank you again for the kind comments you've been leaving. And thank you to Ryan Coldy for sharing the word about my channel. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.